Who would win in a face-off? Toothless or Dragon from the dragon from SHREK?
Toothless.
Yeah, Toothless would win.
Oh, Toothless, of course.
And
Yeah.
she's
married
expecting this to a donkey.
And she likes a small man.
Yeah.
Toothless.
Con Gaby Cam y Javier Ibarreche.
Guys, thank you for having me. Congratulations for the movie.
Thank you so much.
Loved it. Mason, I would like to start with you. When you were 7, you were watching the trailer from the second movie, and you said, I want to be him one day. What was the path you had to get here?
God, this is still so surreal to me that I get to be Hiccup. I still think this is all a dream. But the fact I get to step into these shoes and be this character that meant so much to me, and so many other people, that maybe I get to bring it to a new generation and maybe have that effect that, you know, Hiccup had on me as a kid. So, you know, I'm so honored.
What was like the main thing that this character left you?
It kind of just taught me the strength of just kind of being yourself. You know, Hiccup, all he wanted was to be like everybody else and to fit in, and you know, they agree.
Yeah.
Once you realize that, you know, different is okay and different, you know, will work, and once everybody accepts him for being different is kind of what showed me that, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, be yourself and like the things you like, and, you know, pursue the dreams you want to do.
Yeah, and be brave in the process. No?
Exactly.
And going now into deeper questions, what would you say to all the parents out there who are hoping like their child to follow their path and they want to take another direction?
Following the path and wanting to take another direction, that would be just to support them, not judge them. Sometimes I think parents can be harsh, not even realizing it, you know, but that doesn't mean that just because the child says, I want to go there, you go, yeah, sure. It has to be, you know, sometimes they have to still be educated and talk it through. Like Hiccup doesn't just go in that, he still has to prove himself. He has to go through a lot and show a lot of dedication to, you know, to Toothless. There's a lot of time put in before he really makes his mark, you know, on the rest of the tribe. So, but I would definitely say have empathy and compassion and understanding and conversation.
That's beautiful. And unlike the animated movie, did you have the freedom to add up like something extra into this live action?
Yes. I mean, the script was still the script, but I could put a lot more moments in, and there was some ad-libbing, but I feel like a lot of the movements that I did, there was such a freedom and enjoyment of that costume, that wardrobe, that, you know, just putting in some of the stuff that I put in, you know, Dean would very much encouraged that, and I think he could see that I was having a lot of fun creating those moments. So yeah.
Was it heavy, the costume?
Very heavy.
Yeah.
It was like 90 pounds, so that's like carrying you around on my shoulders all day.
And now, like, seeing you in real life, it's like, oh no, it's like out of character. It's like shocking. Like, you did really well with all the costume.
Well, I have to say, yeah, even when I watch the movie, I'm like, is that
me?
It's very, I mean, I look and feel so different. So I guess that's the highest compliment I could pay myself, that normally I can always see me, but this, I'm like, damn, he really is like somebody else.
Yeah. Nico, it's always great to see female characters like this strong and powerful. So what do we need to learn from Astrid?
Oh my God, so many things. I think the main thing for me at least, to take away from her is a welcoming of change and difference. I think is really special, and I think that to be able to acknowledge being wrong is actually a really powerful thing, and it isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of truly great strength. And I think that aspect of her is something that, you know, she's an action hero and she's a badass, but I think that her compassion is something that should be celebrated more than anything else, because I think that that's kind of the coolest thing about her.
I have to say that I watched the live action before I watched the animation movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I really loved it, and I think that live actions, very few live actions actually make it. So what would you say is the ingredient that this live action has that make it so memorable?
Well, I think we managed to preserve the wonder and the heart that were present in the animated movie. That was very important to me, that if we were going to do a live action version, it had to have the same sense of deep kind of wish fulfillment not only flying on a dragon, but going to a world like this, you know, wanting to spend time in this on this island with these people and these dragons. There's something kind of magical about it, and we had to make sure that we were delivering that at least as strongly as the animated movie, if not more, in a live action version.
While I was in the theater, I could hear like all the fans and the press screaming and crying, and I was the one crying out when I finished the movie, so I really loved it.
Fantastic.
And also, movies and books always describe dragons as aggressive and dangerous. So what is that thing that Toothless have that makes it like feel so empathy and love for him?
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the primary theme of the movie, which is, you know, the dragons are seen as dangerous and aggressive until one brave kid decides to take a risk and befriend one, and he quickly discovers, oh, okay, this is an intelligent creature, a compassionate creature, a protective creature, and we really tried to lean into so many YouTube videos of dogs and cats doing cute things, because we want the audience to feel that when they watch Toothless, it's basically like watching your cat at home.
I think all of us would like a Toothless for our own, you know, like to have one in our home. Who would win in a face-off? Toothless or Dragon from the dragon from SHREK?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good question.
It's a great one.
It's Toothless.
It's
like,
got it, yeah.
power-wise.
Yeah. It's Toothless.
I mean,
but
she is a bit of a
she's
a
mother.
She's a
Yeah.
bad
Yeah,
like,
Maddie,
she's
Maddie.
In a face-off
mother
for my
now.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a mother. So, like, what if Toothless is like?
Yeah.
What if the kids are involved? I mean,
Yeah.
like, she seems like she.
And she did such
holds
excellent
it
work
well.
for like dragons having eyelashes, and
Yeah.
I don't think that should go.
Oh,
unnoticed.
wow. That's a
Yeah.
great
She was
idea.
kind of
Yeah.
the,
And
she was
having
kind of the
villains.
first kind of
Yeah.
dragon. You know what I mean? Like before.
Capital D.
Yeah.
She was Miss
hot.
Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, and if people were like, oh, like only boys, like only dragons like boys.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but she was like-
That is what
She did a lot of
say
work
that.
for the dragon community.
Yeah, she did a lot of work for the dragon community.
It's like an activist, her.
Yeah.
I bet you would.
uplifting women in the dragon community. I
Yes.
think.
Toothless,
Yeah.
Toothless is super against that.
And
Yeah.
she's
You probably weren't
married
expecting this
to a donkey.
As
Yeah.
well, and I'm like,
And she likes a small man.
Yeah.
And any
Any
person likes a small
Yeah,
man.
that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So
Toothless. See, Toothless is lethal. You don't see him. Just the dragon from SHREK was scary, but he was. My memory is he was a bit cumbersome. Toothless is fast and lethal.
Yeah.
Toothless.
Yeah, Toothless would
Toothless.
win, but
I love
like
the
them
dragon in
both. I
SHREK.
love the dragon from SHREK. I'm gonna go with their friends.
They wouldn't even fight.
Nope.
Wouldn't even bother.
Oh, Toothless, of course. The dragon from SHREK is so lazy. He's kind of not very fit, but Toothless, he's all muscle,
Yeah, he is.
ferocity. He's a natural alpha, Toothless.
Toothless. Totally. I believe in Toothless.
In the original movie, Gover is missing his right leg.
Yes.
And in this version, he's missing the left one.
Yes.
There is a story behind?
There is a story behind it. Do you know the story?
A little bit.
Okay,
I want
fine.
you to tell it.
I needed my left knee replaced. So I was in constant agony for like 3 years, and I never got it done. Like an idiot, like a man.
Like a Viking.
I'm just going to live in pain for 3 years and it'd be fine. But I had an appointment to have my left knee replaced a week before I got this job. And then Dean said, so why don't you not have the operation and let's make his left leg the one that's bad or gone? And I'm like, oh, yeah,
Let's do
okay,
it.
let's use it. I can say that I'm this great character actor who just limped through the agony for like 3 months while we made the picture. But then as soon as we finished, I had it replaced. So now the second film, when we do that, then I'll be really acting. Because that will be me just pretending that my left leg is not there anymore.
You're a great actor.
I might just have it removed just to, see if that improves my performance.
What are the do's and don'ts for being a great Viking?
The do's are, I think, fearlessness, a wildness. Like there's embracing the crazy is good. A discipline, an adventurous spirit, a great sense of humor. The don'ts would be, I don't know what the don'ts would be. There aren't many don'ts in Viking culture. Don't be a softie. Don't be, I'm saying all this, but Hiccup's a softie. But he's an inventive, creative, different softie. I don't know what the don'ts are. I'm much more I'm much more down with the what's what you can do as a Viking.
Yeah, and we need to apply them in real life. We need to learn that from hiccups, especially.
Yes.
You would know this better than me.
I would know this better than you. Just wanted to take a drink. I was gonna say your hair.
My side part?
No.
Leave it out of this.
Just do a solid side part.
Leave that
I think
part out of this.
if there are dragons, from Mason's side of things, I would say, approach with love and care.
Well, that was my answer. This is your answer.
And from Astrid's side
No,
of things,
I don't have an answer.
I think it's very important that, I would say find a weapon that feels comfortable
And do
for
a
you.
lot of cartwheels.
Cartwheels
is the key mode of transportation, and then also I would say finding a weapon that feels comfy in your hand.
Yeah, in between takes and stuff, everybody would be chilling out, and it's like, oh, where's
and
Nico?
Nico's just
cartwheeling around us, and it's like, oh, somebody gave her the cookies again.
But I think that makes me sound like a psychopath. No, I do think that I genuinely think that the weapon one is the most important.
Yeah.
Because what was really cool in this movie is that all of the recruits, we all had like wildly different weapons, and it was always interesting because they felt very true to each character. And so I think if you were a Viking, my main thing would be nice to dragons, nice weapon, and then if you can get a killer side part like Mason has in the movie.
We love Gover because he faces life with humor. Do you think that applies also in real life?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I think he totally does. I think not just humor, but I think he's. I love the fact his humor. Do you know that phrase, black humor, dark humor?
Yeah.
So, like humor that comes from adversity, and I think he's that. I think he's seen, obviously. I talked to Dean and Gerard a lot about this, but I think he's had a chance to train other kids before, and he hates it because a lot of them end up being eaten by dragons or killed, And I think there's a kind of humor that comes from that kind of situation that Gobber loves. I think that all the elders from Berk, when you see everyone who's lost hands or arms, I think they have to have that kind of dark humor to survive somewhere like Berk,
I love it, guys. I have to ask also all of you how the personality of all of your characters complement each other. I think that's great.
I think almost they kind of don't in a way, which is great. Like they kind of there's a lot of head butting in the scenes, and there's a lot of arguing, and there's a lot of shouting. And I think as you watch the film, you kind of see them kind of learn to cooperate with each other, and I think that's really beautiful.
And I think it is. Yeah, there's a big shift from going at the beginning. I feel like we're all just yelling, and then
I can see that.
And then it becomes a thing about like for the first time they listen, and I think that's when it kind of like they actually all come together. And I think it's Hiccup that makes them listen reluctantly, but he makes them.
And guys, what would you say? Did you have the chance to maybe add up something from your personality to your characters at some point?
I mean, I see a lot of myself in Hiccup in a lot of ways, so I took a lot of, my personal, and even as an actor, a lot of your personal experiences and, journeys you've been on will help you, flesh out a character. And, for Hiccup, everybody loves Hiccup, and everything about him is his sarcasm, his wittiness, his humor.
He's funny. He's handsome. I'm funny. I'm handsome.
I didn't say that. Gosh, I was getting to it. But I feel like just a lot of my personal experiences I got to put into Hiccup, which was a lot of fun.
I think my thing from actually, like Mason said, I do feel like, funnily enough, lots of the characteristics of all of the characters and their actor counterparts actually really intertwine a lot of the times, and I think that's actually. It is, you don't even really realise the parts of yourself that are kind of being bared out with the character, which is really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the joys of getting the job and realising that Dean was a collaborator. He wanted to collaborate. He wanted to, I think I've said this a lot the last couple of days, but if he had said to me, so we made these films before and they were really popular, so let's just do that. I wouldn't have been surprised, and I'd be like, okay, I get it. But he wasn't that at all. He was like, so what we did was here, now we're going to try this. What do you want to do? And I think once you get the chance and the green light to do something like that, I'm like, okay, here are my ideas,
Yeah.
And I think I love the fact that I can wrap and go home and look at what we're going to shoot tomorrow and come up with alternative lines or different, stuff that you'd go in and say to Dean the next morning, what about this? Can I try this? Or you'd say to Mason, do you think this line's funnier? Or it's a chance to make something that wasn't written, which I really love.
Yeah, and the result was great, so all that
Good.
work.
Thank you.
Since the release of the original movie, have you heard any parent or child that identify with that part of that relationship, like parent-kid?
Yeah, I mean, I had that relationship, with my father. So I think it is quite a common, a relatable relationship to feel like you're a disappointment to your parents, and that perhaps your parents their expectations are too high or misplaced. It's like seeing one another, understanding that your parent is a person who's got all of their own issues, but also like for a parent to see the kid and see that individual. And like, sure, it's not necessarily what you had in mind when your son or daughter was going to grow up, but maybe there's something really wonderful about what makes them quirky and different.
Yeah, and what would you say to all the parents out there, or to the kids that feel different and identify with this story?
I think, celebrate individuality. Yeah, don't try to change yourself or others to fit a societal norm. Just embrace what makes you quirky and different and strange, and let the world evolve and embrace you and change, because we need more. We need more of that personality.
What would you like the audience to feel after watching this live action?
I want them to feel that they've just been in a journey in another realm with all the beauty and enchantment and the excitement and the fear and the emotion, but to come out really having learned, because I think this movie is about learning to march to the beat of your own drum, find the superhero inside yourself and inside other people, and being willing to at times be vulnerable, and and also the putting the effort and the compassion into friendships. When you see the effort that he puts in, that Toothless puts into, that Hiccup puts into Toothless, and then vice versa, there's something about that. You go, I should be better with my friends. Give them the time and give them, the resources, the energy. Time is everything, really. And he, makes so many they make so many sacrifices for each other. Very heartwarming.
What would you say this live action has different than the animated movie?
I think it's an expansion of the world for sure. Burke already exists as a whole thing, and Dean has his imagination and his injecting of wonder into this story was already vast. But I think that it adds, there's something about us being real people and Hiccup being a real living, breathing boy, it's something about him meeting this beast that then they become friends. It feels like there's more threat at the beginning with the dragons, and there's more danger and there's a bit more violence. But then I think then the payoff lands a little bit on the ground a bit harder, I think, maybe, because it's you're looking at a real, like Mason is real, and you're seeing the real fear in his eyes,
Yeah, the stakes feel higher.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Con Gaby Cam y Javier Ibarreche.